You're listening to Secret Sonics, a podcast exploring the creative side of music production. Join us weekly for honest conversations with real-world music producers and audio professionals. Hey guys, before we get into this episode, I just want to give you a tiny warning that there are noises of children playing, very subtly throughout this episode because, William and I are both working from home and it's lockdown and it's 2020 and it is what it is. But I super enjoyed my conversation with William and I think you're going to learn a ton. So let's get into it. Here's my conversation with William Bowser. Hello and welcome back to Secret Sonics. I'm your host, Ben Wallach. My guest today is William Bowser. William is an award-winning music producer, recording, mixing, and mastering engineer, and the co-owner of Quality Touch Studios, LLC, based out of Plata, Maryland. With over 18 years of experience, William has developed and honed the skills needed to make records that both sound good and engage the listener. William is a member of AES and the Washington, D.C. chapter of the Grammy Committee, which he has been able to leverage on behalf of his artists to help facilitate important connections and placements, solidifying their careers in music. Former guest of the show, Brandon Allshouse, mentioned William on his episode, and I reached out to William, and he agreed to join me on the show. So welcome to the show, William.
Hey. What's going on, man? I definitely appreciate you having me on the show, man. This has definitely been fun.
Yeah, we've already been schmoozing for 20 minutes or something.
Oh, yeah.
15 minutes.
We definitely got a whole conversation.
I was like, we just need to start this because you're already getting to the good stuff. So tell the listeners how you got started getting involved in, I guess, music. Tell us your story, basically. Okay,
so I know for everyone that missed it, our previous conversation.
Yes, exactly.
So basically, so me and Ben talking, we basically realized that we're both from New York, and we're both from Brooklyn.
We're both ex-Brooklyn, people.
I know, right?
We used to be Brooklyners.
Yeah, so we're
right?
on what do they call us? New York. We're on Brooklyn transplants. That's what we are. So
Brooklyn transplants. That's right, both of us.
So
yes.
So growing up in New York, I've been doing art and graphic design since I was 5 years old. So I've been going to specialized schools all of my life, and I've been drawing. And literally that's literally what it seemed like my life was going to be, was just doing graphic and, working for some company and making whatever money graphic designers make. So when I got to high school, though, music hit me in a way that anyone that's really in love with making or performing or anything that has to do with music, they understand. Like when the music bug, it grabs you, it's one of those, it's not letting go.
Yes.
So,
by the way, I also did, I also was more into drawing. I mean, I don't know if I was that precocious when I was, that young, but I was certainly into drawing and sketching way before I was into music. And then I had a very similar kind of transition, I think.
Yeah. Look, so it's like, I don't know what it was. It went from me singing at home to me wanting to sing on stage and me wanting to perform at school. And it was just again, I'm living in New York. So it's just that vibe of entertainment and art all mixed together. And I was just like, this is it. I'm in here. And so from there on, the music class that I ended up taking in high school was an extra class. And it wasn't even on the schedule as a full curriculum class. I'm literally getting extra credit for showing up before school even starts. So I got to catch the D train down from DeKalb Avenue. If I miss the 5 train or the 2 train, having to get there in the first place to that stop and then go from there all the way down to 45th Street and get off and go to school. And I got to do this an hour early just so I can get there on time to be there at 7:15. So I'm out. Yeah. I'm out the door at 6 o'clock in the morning. Everything I got to be up at 5 o'clock, 5:30, and I got to be out the door. And this is for an extra.
And you're like, what, 14, 15?
Yeah, this is just for an extra class.
Yeah.
For an extra class. But I loved it so much. And me and the music teacher, we were so with it. And it changed my whole life. And then, unfortunately, I had to move from New York because of family issues with my mom and my stepfather. So we end up here in Maryland. And I've been in Maryland since 1999. So
wow.
Here I am trying to sing and dance and perform and do all this fun stuff. And more or less fast forward into like the better part of a decade from the 2000s to 2010s. And I had to make that decision of, what do I want more? Do I want to engineer or do I want to be an artist? And throughout that time, again, I performed all over the place. I'd been up and down the East Coast and through most of the Midwest. I had been on TV. I had been on radio. I did a little stint with Universal. We had all these things that myself and the group and the folks I was associated with, we all went through. And it just didn't make any sense. Being an artist is hard, granted. And I had a mild level of success in my space of time that I was doing my thing. But the problem was the consistency. It's the inconsistency of making money that ended up just being, well, I'm more consistent with my engineering, and I can count on that more than with me being an artist. Having me travel and go all over the place, and my wife be like, oh, well, I can't go because I got to work, this, that, and the third. So did that. Fast forward to now, and here in 2020, I literally have had probably the best year of my entire engineering career, which I know to most people are going to be like,
so crazy.
What? And yeah, it's, I've made more money. I've mixed better records. I've worked with bigger clients. I have literally, for the first time this year, been able to go and have an artist I worked with that's signed up for consideration just for in the voting part when it comes to the Grammys right now. Like, these are things that I've just never ever done, but always dreamed of, you know, sure. It just blows my mind. I've got millions of streams on multiple platforms from now multiple songs. I've worked with artists that unfortunately some have passed away, but have huge followings. So I've been part of that now. I'm part of that like legacy and history, which is a double-edged sword, but there are things that have just happened this year that have just been incredible. You know, I'm working with two artists now who are looking at publishing deals from Sony ATV. So it's one of those things where a year ago I was buying my first house and just rebuilding my studio, and a year and a half later, probably one of the better studios, and I have it in my home in the state.
Yeah, that's sick.
It's weird.
So what do you think led you down this road of, like, I guess 2020 somehow being like the golden year for you? Like how did it work out? Like, I'm sure it was like a culmination of like a lot of work that you've done over many, many years in the past. Like, how did it get to this point? And also, I guess, how have you worked past all the difficulties surrounding this year and somehow still thriving?
For me, so it's like, I guess, cooking food. It's a culmination of so many different things. Like, as a mixing engineer, I'm very competitive, and I'm very much a realist. So I know what my competition is, and for anyone that might not understand how my mind works on that, I look at competition very, very simple. Go to the Billboard Top 100. That's your competition, because the moment you put out a record with your name on it, these are the people who you have to compete with, because even though some days might be better than others, this is their best effort on a record that is showing their best foot forward, which means every time I do that, I have to step up to the plate and do the exact same thing. Now, that's just the competitive nature in me. When it comes to this year in particular, some people might not know this. Me and my wife actually had the coronavirus. So,
oh man,
yeah. So we were
glad you're doing well.
Thank you. It is one of those things where, yeah, it's as bad as people say it is. 100%. I'm literally living proof, letting people know it is that bad. It is like the worst flu you could possibly think of. Add bronchitis onto that, and add everything else you've ever had to put you down in your life when it comes to just not being able to do anything. And that's what having the coronavirus felt like. And on top of that, we have our three children. So yeah, it was definitely a very, very strenuous time. But me and my wife,
when did you get it, by the way? When did you have it?
I want to say, don't quote me now because it's been a while now. So I want to say maybe 4 or 5 months ago now. And
oh wow, so towards the beginning.
Yeah. And my wife's a nurse at a hospital. And
oh my gosh,
of course, I'm running a home studio. So at this point, it's one of those, it could have came from anywhere. And we never were fully able to track down who or where it came from. and which
Right.
gate which we got it from. We only got one person that was here that ever even contracted it, and that was it. Other than that, I've had hundreds of clients this year still. Thank God so far you can't re-contract it, and because of me and my wife, we have been able to go donate blood and help other folks out. So as it stands right now, we are two of the best people to be around.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like, just in case, I got you.
Yeah. No, totally. My parents, by the way, also, and my sister in New York, like everyone in New York got it in like March.
Oh, yeah.
And my parents have given also blood and stuff. So,
yep.
Congrats to you and all the good people that are, I guess.
Yeah, man. Gotta help when you can. But like you, like onto your question though, I wanted to make sure for myself and my wife. Number one, I have a huge faith in God. Number two, I knew we were going to be okay. So I told her when we are past this, we are going to just go hard and get everything that we're meant to have. Period. No breaks, no stopping. Let's just go and tackle life head on. And so that led to all of the opportunities that have been coming my way now. And I just haven't stopped.
Wow.
Like, that's it. No matter what happens, no matter any of the discussions, no matter the pitfalls, the breaks, no matter any of that, I just refuse to stop. Like, I literally refuse. I look at it like I have blessings coming. They're there waiting for me. And until I get to those times when those blessings show themselves and manifest themselves, guess what? I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep putting my best foot forward. I'm going to keep competing so I can be one of the best and one of the greatest one day. Because I don't gotta be that right now, but I am coming for it. So it's one of those. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, and you're enjoying the journey while you're at it. Also.
Oh God, yes, it's beautiful. Like,
yeah,
to be able to have success, to be able to share that success and help other people who thought they wouldn't have success, to show young engineers, how to maneuver in these times where things are just going crazy. I mean, heck, just having a hybrid studio, because I was 100% in the box guy for like the longest time. And then not only just learning, but showing, hey, you can do this or you can do this, teaching and educating my clients who are young musicians who have never even probably seen a royalty check, help them get their first checks for the first time in their lives. Things of that nature help me keep going, because I know that ultimately myself and the team that I've put together are helping people be the best versions of themselves. And I don't have to take advantage of anybody. I'm dispelling all these crazy industry like tropes that have existed for God knows how long at this point. And I'm just being the best person I could be to help people along the way, Yeah.
Wow. I love it. First of all, I love your positivity. I love like your outlook.
Thank you,
love, and it sounds like you have an amazing work ethic and like persistence. And it's just like the mindset of like, okay, this is out there ready for me to conquer, and I'm going to go do it. And like, what's stopping you? I feel like a lot of people have like a fear, almost like a fear of success. And I know I've suffered from this from time to time. It's like, no, I can't really be the successful one. But sometimes if you like get over that and like, just like, no, this is it. I could do this. Like
when I was younger, I was the exact same way. When I was younger, I knew that I was meant to lead. The problem with when you're meant to lead, you question, are people going to follow? And then what happens, in my case, I follow behind other people who I see are leading. Again, the problem though is that was not meant for me. So I'm following things that ended up going nowhere ultimately. So then I fall back and I feel like I wasted time and energy and hope into things for other people, when the reality is that wasn't meant for me in the first place. So what's meant for me are the things that are already in place, but I'm being hard-headed. I'm not listening. I'm not pursuing. I'm not focusing on what's meant for me. I'm trying to do other things for other people and neglecting what's already there for me in the first place. So packed the bags. I made sure I was just a passenger on the ride, and I just did my job. And in doing so, I realized, hey, these are the things I've seen. These are the things that don't work. I hate telling people bad advice,